Hello, welcome to You Haven't Blanked That. I'm Forrest.
And this is Jimmy. Welcome, everybody.
Today we are going to talk about the Beatles animated movie Yellow Submarine.
Yes, we are.
I watched this movie a lot as a kid. They used to show this on Channel 13 all the time. I don't know if they showed it on there all the time, but
They showed the movie all the time?
I don't know if they showed it all the time, but we had a recording from Channel 13 that I would watch. So I think it was more, I don't think they showed it on there all the time, but we had a recording of it on a tape, and that's where I would watch this on.
Okay, well, hold on. Before we start talking about this, the Amazon summary to this movie reads as such. A vibrant pop art animation, an amazing soundtrack, and a lively storyline have made Yellow Submarine one of the most beloved musical films of all time. That's a fucking lie.
Wow. Go on.
In the film, the idyllic Pepperland comes under attack by the Blue Meanies, a music-despising bunch who strip the land of sound and color. Luckily, the captain of the Yellow Submarine, old Fred, finds his way to Liverpool to enlist John Paul ... ellipses.
Okay, so it didn't really get everybody. But anyway.
Which is weird, right? Why would you not finish it off with the rest of the band? It's only two more fucking names, but...
I guess you didn't like this.
Okay. I'm very picky on the art that I like.
Okay.
How it's done. So, the early animation of this, where it shows, like... Is it Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Heart Club Band is playing, right? In the meadow?
Yeah.
Okay. And then the Blue Meanies come down, they attack or whatever.
Yeah.
The animation just seems so, like, not ready. You know what I mean? I feel like that introduction was rushed.
Okay.
Because the rest of the animation in the movie was fine. So I don't know whether, like, they're kind of, like, focusing on one of the music aspects of the stuff that they kind of rushed at the beginning because it didn't seem finished and it didn't look like the rest of the...
They had, like, a year to make that movie.
Okay, that explains so much too.
Yeah,
okay.
Because it takes a good 2, 3, sometimes 4 years to do.
Yeah, like it could take up to like 5 years to do animation.
Yeah,
yeah.
And I mean, if they would have taken the time, like they probably should have taken on it, the Beatles would have been broken up by then.
Yeah, very true.
And so I think it was very rushed. I'm sure in some places.
Yeah, because like I wouldn't even be so cool to even have it redone with the new animation.
You know, they were going to do that at one point.
Were they?
Here's what happened: is they were going to redo it,
and
it was going to be Robert Zemeckis was going to do this. Back to the Future Robert Zemeckis.
Okay, yeah.
So what happens is he's going to make an animated movie, but he's going to kind of use that same stuff he used for the Polar Express and all that.
Oh,
stuff.
that CGI.
That CGI.
No, that would have been bad.
So they were going to do that. They had cast everybody who was going to be in it. Like they cast them out. They had announced it. It was going to be a Disney movie. But what happens was that he makes Mars Needs Moms, and it fucking tanks.
Oh,
and Disney's like, we're pulling the plug on it. But like, Cary Elwes was going to be Ringo. I can't think of his name, but the guy that's the Tick now, and he's Pete from Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah.
He was going to be Paul.
Oh, okay.
I forgot who the other two were going to be.
I would have been fine with that
and they were going to redo it, and then the Fab Four was actually going to come in and do all the music for it.
Oh, that would have been so good.
He just kind of lost interest after that.
That's a bummer because if they would have the actual opening credits had like these like solid watercolor pieces.
Yeah.
And if the animation would have been that, oh man, that would have been amazing. But I feel like they did the watercolors first, and then they based the animation off of those because those pieces seem complete and they're good. And then the animation itself is just
Did you pick up that the Beatles didn't do their own voices?
In the
movie.
No.
They don't do their own voices.
Who does their voices?
I don't know who in particular who does the voices, but they don't do their own voices. They didn't have anything to do with it because did you ever see the Beatles cartoon?
No, I thought this was the Beatles cartoon.
Well, this is a Beatles cartoon, but there was a Beatles cartoon before that was like them getting in wacky adventures and like
Scooby-Doo?
Pre-Scooby-Doo-ish, I think. And then they would make animated music videos, kind of like what they do here. But they hated it so fucking much.
I think I might have seen a little snippet of it.
You've seen the pictures of it, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure I have.
So they really wanted nothing to do with the movie. When they saw the movie, they were actually surprised that they liked it, and that's why they filmed that cameo at the end.
Oh, okay. So I have another thing about that cameo at the end. Turns out the Beatles were tied with United Artists to do 3 movies.
Yeah.
And they were done with the movies. They didn't want to do anymore, and they were on their way out. And they were figured, we'll do the animation, we'll put our name on it, and that'll count as our 3rd movie, so we can just dip out. And the lawyers said, no, you need to be
in the movie.
In the movie. So they filmed that little cameo at the very end, so they could say they're in the film. But by the time they filmed that cameo, cool, now we're in the movie. Hey, thanks, we're out.
Okay, you know they had the rights to Lord of the Rings at one point?
The Beatles did?
Yeah, or George or one of them did.
That would have been so weird to see Lord of the Rings with the Beatles.
It may have been George who had the rights to them, if not all.
Lord of the Rings was huge back then because I don't even know when they were released, but
they were released around World War II.
Because Led Zeppelin has Lord of the Rings references throughout their music.
Well, that's the whole battle. This is what I've been told, because my uncle told me. I haven't read them yet. I think we're supposed to do it on here.
Okay.
Eventually.
Oh, the Lord of the Rings
books. Yeah. I've never
okay.
done. My uncle had always told me that whole battle, all that battle scene, was written while Britain was being bombed.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's interesting.
It's like an allegory for World War II. What were your expectations of it? What did you think it was going to be?
I thought it was going to be a very coherent story of the submarine. But okay, so the Yellow Submarine,
it looks pretty, but there's no story to it.
There's no story to it. But I also thought Yellow Submarine, the song itself, had to do with the cemetery.
Okay.
Because the Yellow Submarine was the pine coffin, and then the sea of green would be the grass, and so I thought it was a song about dead people because they're all around you in their own submarines. So I figured that's what it was.
Okay.
So I figured, I don't know how this is gonna be, but I figured they've done a lot of drugs. I don't know how they're gonna make it work, whatever. And I thought the Blue Meanie was the gravedigger or whatever.
The fuck, dude?
Yeah. So my mind went elsewhere with this whole story.
I'm just this is the movie I watched as a child, and I watched.
Yeah, so I was always kind of horrified when you're oh, the kids were watching Yellow Submarine. I'm okay, whatever, dude.
Yeah, no, I let the kids watch that movie because it's fucking fun. It's a fun movie.
So not what I expected at all.
So you had no concept of Pepperland.
No concept of Pepperland, and then
you've seen a Blue Meanie though.
I've seen a Blue Meanie.
You just didn't know what they were.
I didn't know where they were. I didn't know where they fit into a story. Because the thing is, the album itself, it doesn't lend itself to this story.
Well, the album itself is just kind of an amalgamation of songs because some of the songs are on other are mostly on other albums.
Yeah, but I don't know. It was interesting. I'm glad I saw it. Mm-hmm. But it was a weird movie.
Oh no, it's
but because
it's definitely trippy.
The thing is, they don't really explain the story well, what's going on. You know what I mean? I didn't know the band playing was Sgt. Pepper's.
At the beginning, you didn't pick up on that?
And then when old Fred gets into the submarine and leaves to find help, I don't understand where he went to. You know what I mean? He just flew away into the air, but the intro to the movie was he's 50,000 leagues under the sea, and then that kind of bugged me too because I'm leagues is distance, not depth. But whatever. But it was more then I realized, oh, it's a whimsical thing, because they're saying little things here and there. So I'm it bugged me that they're trying to be so whimsical. And then I'm I was irritated, but I kept watching to see what the animation was, and I almost gave up too because the animation was kind of crappy in the beginning, but it got better. And then I do like the transition to the real world where it was like that photocopy overlaid with color. Mm-hmm. So I thought it was pretty cool. What you doing?
I'm sorry, I'm just kind of looking, trying to get a soundtrack, the song track. So, okay. What did you think of the animations to the songs? I mean, these are songs you've heard a million times. Was there anything that stuck out to you at all? Like, it doesn't really stick out to me because, like I said, I've been watching these since I was 4. So these are just kind of like, oh, this part. Except for the Hey Bulldog part, because that was something they added late. It wasn't that. What happened was that it got lost in the cutting room floor.
Yeah.
And I had never seen... That was actually my first time watching the Hey Bulldog part. And I haven't seen that movie in, I'm going to say 15, 20 years.
Cool. I like the animation. I like the Bulldog. How it was like that 4 or 5 headed dog thing. And it was all connected. Cool reference. But yeah, like it turned out it was like deleted from like the original American release. And then in 1999 when they restored it, they added 5 minutes to the movie, plus that Hey Bulldog scene, which I thought was cool. Like, I don't understand why you would cut that out.
And I thought it was going to be, like, way earlier in the film, more closer to where they were sneaking in to get the instruments.
Oh, going through the seas
not
through
the seas.
To get the instruments.
To get the instruments when they have to go through that field. And I was like, oh, it's going to be in this part. Like, that's where you would logically put that song. Because in the movie, it just cuts... You just don't see that Hey Bulldog part, and it just goes to, it's all too much.
Yeah. Like, the animation to the actual songs were dope. I really like those a lot. Because you can see where they took their time for it. That When I'm 64...
That's like my favorite.
It was like such a great little thing to see their like beards grow and like get younger again. The director, George Dunning.
Yes.
So George Dunning, I do know who he is. I knew him before this.
Okay.
He is a specialist in animation, and not only that, his biggest talent was glass painting. I've seen stills of his work, but I didn't know they were in this movie.
Okay. So because, a lot of the stuff you've seen was from this movie, you just didn't realize it was from this movie.
Yeah, because I've actually seen like originals too of his glass work, but he went out of his way to direct the sequence of Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds.
Yeah, did you read about how they did that? The pencils or whatever they used for it, they wanted to be a lot more rough, not like kind of rough, kind of a lot more.
Well, that's the glass. Yeah, because they painted on glass.
Okay, so that was all done on the glass.
Yeah, that whole sequence is all glass paint.
Okay.
So that's why it looks kind of like raw and just not finished and squiggly and just kind of blobs. Because that was George's like specialty.
It was glass.
Yeah, it was glass. So it was like cool to be like, oh, I've seen those actual
stills before.
Yeah, those stills before because it's actual like a painted glass. So that was super cool to see. And
how many times did you watch the movie?
Twice.
Twice.
I was gonna try a third, but I just didn't want to sit through it. Because at one point, it's like seizure-like. There's one song sequence that is just, it's flashing lights on you so quick. The end of it, the one
that's all too much at the end.
Not the end. Like, there's a middle... I should have wrote down what song it was. But, like, they flashed the colors so much that it was, like, it was giving me a headache. I'm like...
Oh, it was Nowhere Man.
Nowhere Man, yeah.
With Jeremy.
Yeah, and I was done with that point. But I thought they fucked up with Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds... Because the way that the last song was animated with that iridescent shines of light going on, I felt like that would have been a perfect representation for Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds rather than the loose paint. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then the ending would have been weird because it wouldn't have that big, climatic, just giant ending.
I don't think I can get through it again. It was not, I'm going to say a tough sit. It was easier for me to watch as a kid. But here's the other thing that's funny is the Beatles, like everybody else, like say you're Paul. Paul didn't like the person who did his voice, but everybody else like who did Paul's voice, and they all felt that way. None of them liked the way their voice sounded, but all the other three were like, no, that's how you sound.
Well, okay. Let's just take a little journey on my little theory here that Paul McCartney is dead. Okay. And Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Heart Club Band was supposed to be like the new Paul.
Okay.
The fake Paul. So I figured the animation would be like, no, this is what the story is between the two.
So you thought they were gonna make an allusion to Paul is actually dead?
Yes,
that's what you thought this movie was gonna be.
A little bit, because that's what I figured. Okay, like it's the cemetery, because I thought that's what the song was about.
With the beginning of Eleanor Rigby.
Yeah,
you thought that was like.
So I'm like, oh shit, maybe this is where like that theory stems from. Is like that Paul's dead. Well, obviously from like the backwards play of the albums, but maybe this is like a big chunk of it too. I was waiting, anticipating I could start picking out little clues from it, but it was like a little. That's why I had to watch it twice, because it was like, okay, like obviously that's not what happened.
Yeah,
so
because now you find out like they didn't have much to do with it.
Yeah. An interesting movie to see. I'm glad I saw it, but it was one of those where I felt like a little cheated too, because when it comes to like animation, like in the 60s, a lot of it had to do with like they weren't really good at it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So a lot of this stuff is really like stiff. A lot of the things are very 2-dimensional looking. And that's fine. I have no problem with that. What irritates me, and it happens in Scooby-Doo all the time, it happens in the Flintstones, it happens like on the Jetsons.
I know what you're going to talk about, where they reuse the background.
Reuse the background, or reuse the same animation, or run it backwards, and they do it. They do it all the time. Yeah. Especially with Nowhere Man. Like, they literally played a whole sequence going forward, and they're like, shit, this is taking too long. Let's just run it backwards. And that's exactly what they did. I mean, they looked fine. You could have just, like, figured out cuts to do to make it better, but I wasn't sure how much the budget was, but I found out it was like 250,000 pounds.
Yeah, and on top of that, they had to do it within a year.
Yeah, so like now that I know that they had to do it within a year, I get why they did all these shortcuts. I get it.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, because you had to rush it out as quickly as possible, especially with Beatlemania the way it was.
That's why they had to rush it out.
You just smack its name on it and it'll sell. So I don't think they were too worried about how well it was put together.
Because the Beatles cartoon was the same thing. They didn't do their voices. They I don't know how well it holds up.
I was about to say, have you seen it lately?
My dad has. I bought them for my dad on DVD like 10-ish years ago. And I don't remember paying attention to him too much when he bought them, because he kind of put them on at one point, and I don't remember.
I probably have to like YouTube it or something just to kind of get an idea of what it was.
Well, they used to show that on MTV. The Beatles cartoons.
Really?
Oh, dude, MTV was fucking great. Like, when they talk about MTV being fucking great, like, MTV was fucking great at one point. MTV is where I saw those Beatles cartoons. MTV is where I saw the Young Ones.
Really?
That's where I saw the Young Ones. That's where I saw Monty Python for the first time. That's where I saw the Monkees for the first time. All those shows were on MTV at one point.
I used to see the Monkees on...
And they were on Channel 5 also.
Oh, and Channel 5 too.
Yeah. Maybe I didn't see one that then. But I used to see all that stuff was out at that time.
Yeah. No, I just remember MTV just being like music videos, Beavis and Butthead.
Well, I had an aunt, like my Aunt Kelly was
that
like
Aeon Flux.
Okay, see, now that was there. Like, that's when we were conscious of it. But like my aunt was like that age where you watch MTV when I was a little kid.
Oh, okay.
So like when we were into MTV at that age, same age that she was, that's what was on Beavis and Butthead. And Flux.
Yeah.
When she was watching it, I believe it was Monty Python, the Young Ones. Have you ever seen the Young Ones? You know what the Young Ones is?
I do. I know the Young Ones. My friend Brian King.
Yeah.
He's the one who introduced me to the Young Ones.
Such a good fucking show.
Such an amazing show.
Yeah, look at it.
With this movie, another thing that bugged me, well, it didn't bug me, it just kind of was like John acts like John. Paul, a little fucking like uppity, stealing Ringo's car and running around, like whatever. Everybody was kind of like the same, except Ringo was kind of like the Eeyore of the group.
But he was kind of the Eeyore.
Because he was like, oh, poor me. He was just like shitting on himself like the first like part of this movie. And then plus he gets thrown out of the submarine like in the land of monsters and the sea of monsters.
I don't remember the Sea of Monsters scene at all. Like it's been a while since I've seen it.
It was so weird too.
Yeah, like I don't remember that. I don't know if I like maybe when I was a kid just checked out at that point.
Because it was a little freaky. It was a little freaky having all these monsters, especially the one that was like sucking everything in through its mouth and then it went into oblivion. Like, it was weird. Yeah, no. Overall, the movie, it was cool. The first half threw me off. I wasn't really sure what was going on. I was kind of getting annoyed with like whoever did the storyline on it because I was like, I don't know where this is going. You're not really introducing characters.
The only characters you need to introduce are the Beatles and fucking Fred.
Right, but then like you have Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Heart Club Band there, so I figured, okay, the Beatles are already here, and then like.
But you didn't pick up that was supposed to be Sgt. Pepper's?
No.
Really?
No, I didn't.
You see a band in the middle, and there's the fucking bust of the guy in Pepperland.
Well, yeah, I saw the imagery used on Sgt. Pepper's scattered around Pepperland. I'm like, okay.
Pumps and Brakes. Isn't there a drum, like a drum head on a fucking lizard that walks by that says Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band?
But once again, the entire opening scene is just like imagery of the Sgt. Pepper's cover.
Yeah.
Just scattered around.
Yeah, but there's a fucking...
There is a drum, but not with them. It's just...
But it says Sgt. Pepper's on it.
No, but that's like on a hill nearby. It's not in front of them. It's not on their thing at all. And then I thought that was dumb too. Like the Blue Meanies didn't like just put a bubble around them, and then now they're like encased. So now it's like the Sorceress and He-Man, where like she's like immobilized the entire time of the movie. Like... I don't know. I thought
You didn't think the bubble was effective?
No.
The anti-music bubble?
No, I didn't. Then the Blue Meanies, like, I actually kind of really liked the characters of the Blue Meanies. I thought they were pretty cool.
Did you talk about the other ones, like Apple Boppers?
Yeah, those were cool too. I was like, oh, this is going to be super cool. They're going to explain something. And then they never really explained more than they just don't like music. And I'm like...
Like I said, it's not a lot of story, but it's really pretty to look at.
It is.
But you were kind of like...
Kind of. But the animation grew on me as we went on.
I think I say that because I watched it as a kid.
Yeah.
And like I said, it looked... there weren't a lot of... At that point, there wasn't a lot of animation out.
No, there wasn't. And then it's not bad. I mean, plus you get Beatles songs, so like, even better. Like,
yeah. And I think I would try to get the kids to watch it, and they just don't. I think they're just underwhelmed because there's so much better animation that's out there. Even
there really is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were going to make a sequel to this.
To this one?
To this movie. And it was going to be called Strawberry Fields Forever. I read this something I read, and it was going to be the first computer animated movie.
Okay.
And it was going to be a sequel to that movie.
When were they thinking about doing it? When they're still alive?
I don't know. They had kind of done some test stuff for it, and it didn't get past.
When it comes to Beatles, like, I love the Beatles, but at the same time, it's like, I don't... This movie was the fans' interpretation of the Beatles. This felt like a fan-made film.
Okay.
Well, it kind of was then, because the Beatles saw the animation, they liked it, so they wanted it to be on board.
Yeah.
So it is like a fan-made... Someone took Sgt. Pepper's and was like, we could probably make a story out of this, so why not?
I was surprised you hadn't seen this yet, because you are a Beatles fan.
I am a Beatles fan, and like I'm a huge art fan too. The art, honestly, kind of just like pushed me away. Like I didn't want to see it because I didn't want to hate it because I didn't want to hate the Beatles. Now that I've seen it, the art irritated me with the first sequence. Once Fred left Pepperland, the submarine, I'm like, cool, the submarine's going to be a huge element to the story. And it really wasn't anything. You know what I mean? But, like, I like the animation in the real world.
Like, the kind of Monty Python-ish.
Yeah, I love that. I thought it was super cool. I like how it's just black and white with a few colored bits here and there. Yeah. The Beatles mansion was weird, and I got irritated because it's a very Scooby-Doo, with the hallway and the doors opening up, and I'm like, okay, whatever. I mean, overall, I thought it was good for its time. I could have gone without seeing it and been happy. But the Blue Meanies, like, especially the Captain, whatever, he was cool. I liked him. It was weird because, like, I like Naruto, the anime. There's a character in Naruto, his name's Sasuke. He, like, has, like, a curse mark. He wears a lot of blue. When he, like, uses his curse mark, he has these giant hands come out of his back.
So glove is what you're...
No, there's just like these ugly bat wings, but they look like fingers and hands. It kind of reminded me of the Blue Meanie. Was Naruto then influenced off this film to make that character? I don't know. The art was weird, but it grew on me. The music, I love. Story's lacking. And then that's kind of a bummer. I mean, other than that... Because
Hard Day's Night is a great movie. I love Hard Day's Night. Okay. And there's a fun story in that with them just kind of...
That's the one where they're on the train and ran around?
Yeah. Yeah, with Paul's grandfather. Hope they kind of try to do the same thing.
Okay.
But it's a different story. It's weird. It starts off where they're about to do this sacrifice, and for whatever reason they need this ring, and Ringo has the ring. So these people are trying to get the ring from Ringo, and it won't come off his hand, so then they are trying to saw it off Ringo's hand. I think is what it was. It's been a while since I've seen it.
Okay.
And the Magical Mystery Tour is closer to... is just weird.
The thing about when it comes to movies involving pop stars, it is never good.
What other ones have you seen that you feel weren't good?
Movies with pop stars in it?
Yeah, like outside of like the Vanilla Ice one, like clearly Cool as Ice is a horrible movie.
The Jonas Brothers movies?
Okay.
My niece is watching them. If you're only good at making songs and singing, unless you can make that transition to like film, sweet. But I don't think just because you can sing, you can act.
But you don't think they had that with Hard Day's Night?
No.
So you don't think they should have made a Hard Day's Night?
No, I don't.
Why?
I don't think it was that... Dude, we're talking about like... I saw this when I was like 16. So Hard Day's Night, in my memory, doesn't mean anything. It's just people wanted to see them, and that's what it was.
So do you feel the same way about the Monkees?
Yeah.
Because I love the Monkees TV show.
The TV show was cool, but it was one of those where it's like... Cool, you're going to watch some stupid story until they get to one of their songs. Have you seen a Monkees episode?
Oh,
lately?
dude. Like, lately?
Yeah, lately.
They're kind of Marx Brothers-ish. Did you know that? John was a huge fan of the Monkees TV show.
Really?
Yeah.
So that's weird to me because, like, I feel like the Monkees and the Beatles had this kind of, like, they didn't like each other.
No, he loved it. He got it. He was like, oh, it's like the Marx Brothers. It's this. I know what they're doing. What's a Monkees episode you remember?
They're at a museum. Maltese Falcon episode. But the guy with the beanie was like the bumbling idiot of the bunch. And then it was them trying to find the jewel thief that was going to steal the statue or whatever. The whole episode was just building up to the song that they were going to play. And then once the song was literally played, quick 2-second cut to like, oh, we saved the day! Credits.
But how is that different than like Batman 66?
Batman 66 had stories. There was no musical interlude to any of that. It was just basically, here's the villain of the week, here's like the mystery, problem solved.
Did you watch The New Star Is Born with Lady Gaga? Lady Gaga, by the terms that we're using right now, is a pop star.
True.
Should she have been in that movie? I haven't seen it yet, so I can't say.
So, Lady Gaga...
And you can ruin it for me, it's fine. I have no
Okay,
intention.
so Lady Gaga, I saw her act first in American Horror Story.
Okay.
And I felt like her character was a quiet character that you saw occasionally on the side. Kind of not a major character, but just there. And I thought she did fine. Cool. You did what you needed to do. No one expected greatness from you, but you did a great job. Awesome. Lady Gaga was in this movie, and I felt like I don't need to see you pretend to be a nobody. Do you know what I mean? In this movie, she starts off where like she's working at a restaurant, and then she sings once a week at this like gay bar. She's up on stage singing this French song, and then Bradley Cooper comes in because he's a drunk and he needs more booze. She sings incredibly. Everybody stands up and applause for her, and it's like, how pretentious do you need to be? Fake this environment for you to a star is born. Later on, you see her singing her songs, and then like the movie itself has its flaws. They're falling in love and whatever. She does a decent job. Like I believe Bradley Cooper more than I do Lady Gaga because I don't expect that much from her. So my bar is low on her. So she does a pretty good job. At the end of the film, she does like her own pop songs, but like a cheaper version of her style.
Oh, wait, like cheaper version. Do you mean like not as overly produced? Not as...
Like I said, pop songs are good. They're catchy. They're great.
Yeah. Out of all the pop people, she annoys me. I'm not even saying she doesn't really annoy me. I can tolerate her songs more than most.
Right. And they're pretty decent. Some of them are really catchy and I like. In this movie, I don't know, like they feel like, okay, we need to make pop songs, but we don't have time to produce a pop song, so let's just make it as quickly as possible. And then they're just weird, generic pop songs. She gets nominated for a Grammy for these songs. I'm like, dude, like I can't believe like all of this is now like pull me out of the movie because like these songs are garbage. pop stars, I feel, should just be pop stars.
Okay.
The Beatles should have just sang their songs, their little ditties, and never like made the transition to film.
So you're okay with like a Let It Be movie where it's just them in the studio and working on Let It Be?
Yeah, I'm totally fine with
like
that.
a documentary. So if they were making a documentary, you're cool with it. But as soon as they start acting, you're not. You're like, I'm out.
Yeah, and I don't know why it is. It's just maybe I like to have my things separate.
Okay.
But it's like I don't want to see pop stars in movies.
Okay. What about So someone we both are a huge fan of, David Bowie.
I love David Bowie.
I know. Do you like the things he's acted in?
See, that's a really difficult question because my first response is no. But the thing is, like, he's not really
By the terms that you have said.
Yeah, I'm not too thrilled with him in like movies. Like he was in the movie The Illusionist.
He's in the Christopher Nolan one.
Yeah, and it's cool because like
The Illusionist.
He's in it for like half a second. You know what I mean? He's just there.
Tesla.
Cool little cameo, like it, great, thank you, move on. But like to have him as the main character, like as the Goblin King.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let's go off that one. Let's go off Labyrinth then.
Okay. That's
a big one.
That's the one where it bugs me too because it's like I do like that song. I like the songs in the movie.
Yeah.
I don't want you in this movie. He's great in it.
Then who would you have in that movie?
Anybody else?
The Goblin King has to sing.
I know.
Who are you going to get to sing?
Anybody else?
The Man Who Fell to Earth.
You know what? I don't think I've ever seen that movie.
You haven't blanked that?
I have. Oh yeah, let's do that one. Have you seen it?
Not in a while. I don't think I know it well enough.
Okay, then don't worry about it.
But okay,
no, I haven't seen it. So,
what about Zoolander? You don't like him in Zoolander?
Once again, he's like a cameo person, and he's literally there to judge a contest, and he's out. I don't mind that.
Okay.
If they're minor characters, just to be like cool.
Last Temptation of Christ.
Never seen it.
He's Pontius Pilate in Last Temptation of Christ.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Like, and he's in the movie?
He's in the movie.
Yeah, I don't know. I probably avoided it because of that reason.
You like the movie Dune?
Yes.
So you know where I'm going with this.
I know where you're going with this. He wasn't my favorite in that movie either. There, like, you know, if there's pop stars, for sure, I'm not a fan of it. I'm really not. Yeah, I don't know what it is. Like the Beatles in a movie. In a movie. This was more like animation, so it was more like a weirder, longer music video to me. The animation's really good. The colors are really good. The lines are really sharp. Everything's really clean. Mm-hmm. The way I saw this movie was a long music video. You know what I mean? It was just like, okay, just like any Michael Jackson movie.
Okay. Moonwalker.
I don't like it.
Like, okay.
The Wiz? No. But no, The Wiz, another one. Like, I just don't like it. Like,
and this has got like the Double Trouble Diana Ross. And well, there's a few because Diana Ross is in it.
Yeah.
And, Michael Jackson's a Scarecrow. Who was the Tin Man?
I don't remember.
I don't know.
I've seen it. I've seen the movie like twice because it was on TV. I don't need to see the pop stars. You know what it is? I think it's because I already know them from something. So seeing a pop star
but
in
that
a
argument
movie
is horseshit because you know people from everything. Going off your I know him from something, you would only be able to see one person in one thing every time.
Arnold Schwarzenegger is only a Terminator to me. That's all he is to me.
He's only a Terminator.
Only.
Not a Conan.
No. Maybe it's just pop singers then. Maybe it's just singers in general. Michael Jackson. The only thing I like Michael Jackson in acting wise
is Thriller.
That's more of a music video more than anything else.
The Accident. He's directed by
Captain EO.
That's okay. You're gonna say Thriller's a fucking music video, but you're not gonna say Captain EO's a fucking music video.
No, he's a space
First
captain.
off, Captain EO is the gay cousin of fucking Star Wars, and we know this.
Oh my god, no! It's a good little like sequence. It's a good movie.
How is that not
It's a short film.
Hold on.
It's a short film.
So is Thriller, and that's directed by John Landis.
No, because
based on your theory of what you just said, based on what you just said about Thriller.
Hold on. Thriller only has a middle and an end.
What do you mean Thriller only has a middle and the end? There's the beginning of Thriller where they're in the fucking movie and she gets scared. That's the beginning.
That's the middle.
That's not the middle. That's the beginning.
That's the middle.
No, the beginning is short. It's a short beginning, but it's still a beginning.
The beginning is like, I'm scared. Let's get out of here.
Yes,
and then to him singing.
Okay, first off, it's a beginning. There's a middle, but it's just quick. The beginning of the date where they're watching the movie, to where she gets scared and she wants to leave and she gets out.
Which
the
is
middle part,
2 seconds.
That's fine. It can be 2 seconds. You get the point. You get what's going on.
I have no idea who's going on.
Oh, fuck off. Then the middle part is from the
walking past
the graveyard, and then he starts singing.
And then Vincent Price.
And then when he turns into the monster, that's the end.
Okay, Captain EO, you have them trekking through space.
Pumps the brakes.
Ragtag team of misfits that he pulls together.
Okay.
Has to.
When was the last time you saw Captain EO?
Actually, it was a week ago.
Did you watch it on YouTube?
I did.
Oh, God.
FYI, it doesn't hold up.
Totally doesn't hold up.
Does not hold up.
Oh, God, fuck no. It doesn't hold up.
You meet the crew first. You find out they're, like, doing this whole thing. The captain's going to be mad. And then you realize the captain comes out. It's Michael Jackson. As terrified as the crew is of the captain, then you have them landing on the planet. You have them, like, trying to give the gift to the Empress as the queen of the location.
Well, no, that's...
You get kidnapped. There's story plots.
No, there's a story there, but to say there's not a story in Thriller, and that Thriller's just a fucking music video.
It is a music video.
And so is Captain fucking EO!
No, it's not!
Yes.
No, it's not.
Captain fucking EO.
That was a gift to save the galaxy for us. It wasn't just a music video. It brought peace.
That's a music video.
There's that Queen had a story arc. Okay. She was evil.
There's a story arc
through the
with
power of love. She is transformed from a cruel witch into a loving queen. What is there in Thriller? It starts off. Okay. I'm scared.
Okay,
music. That's not instant music. Okay, dancing zombies.
But there's a story in the middle of it because
the story is the song.
No, I got that, I get that. But how that's still a fucking music video.
Oh my god! You take the music out of like Thriller, and it's just I'm scared, and then Michael Jackson, and that's it. That's not the story.
Yes, it isn't.
Because the song is the whole story. You take the song out, and there's no story.
Okay, I have a question then. Who's the main character of that video?
In which video?
In what?
In which video?
In what?
In which short film?
Who's in Thriller? Who would you consider the main character of that video?
In that video?
I'm sorry. Why Michael Jackson?
Taking out the video portion,
nope.
It's just him.
Nope.
And those yellow contacts and that little cat outfit.
But he's not the main character of that video. The girlfriend is the main character of that video. Yes, it's a Michael Jackson song and Michael Jackson singing it, but the girl is the main character of that video.
No. Wow. The song even tells you it's Thriller.
But he is singing it to the girl. He's describing the scene to the girl. He's describing what's happening to the girl.
If anything, Vincent Price is the main character in that whole story. Because he's telling you, because he's lived it, and he's explaining to the audience what the fuck is up.
Okay, now I'm going to have to break down fucking Thriller for you, something I never had to do in my life.
Oh my god, dude!
Okay, so here's how that video breaks down. The girl is the main character of that video.
You get Vincent Price.
The girl is the main character of that video. She's the one that things are happening to in that video, in that story.
No, she's just taking a stroll through the cemetery. She ain't doing jack shit.
She is. She's the one who's scared. She's
the
one that
Michael Jackson is like is
no.
Because he's like no.
First off, no. What you're not getting is that in the short film of Thriller, the girl is the main character of that story.
No.
Yes.
No.
Why?
Because it's not about her.
Yes, it is about her. Who's okay? Michael Jackson and the girl.
Then you're telling me that Harry Potter is not the main character of Harry Potter because it has to do with the wands. All the wands are the main character.
Fuck off with this. Let me finish.
Go.
Who is all this stuff happening to?
Michael Jackson.
Nope.
Is he not in the cemetery? Are there not zombies?
Then Michael Jackson ran out of the movie scared. The girl is afraid of the scary movie. She's like, I'm going to have nightmares. I'm going to have bad dreams. Michael Jackson starts talking about Thriller and scary things happening. And she's like, expecting Michael Jackson to be able to take care of her and while they're going through the graveyard. Then all them dancing zombies come out, and he turns into a dancing zombie. And then he starts chasing her into that house. And then partway through...
So is Michael Jackson like a werewolf zombie?
I think they kind of threw that werewolf thing in there. She was freaking out and thinking that he was a zombie, and then he I feel like
so she is not the main character. The drugs they took in the popcorn
yeah.
is the main character.
I think they literally just put the werewolf eyes in at the end because John Landis did American Werewolf in London. Yeah. That's the only reason why I feel like that's in there.
Yeah.
But break down the
Captain EO?
Captain EO, how that's not a music video.
Because it's not.
Okay, so this has the same elements. Hold
on.
This has the same elements of a short movie.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to ask you a question.
Go.
Is Return of the Jedi...
Oh, fuck off. Continue.
A music video, or is it a movie?
If you're bringing up the whole part in Jabba's palace, I'm going to punch you so hard in the face.
Yeah, I am.
But that's
hold on. There's a song sequence in the middle of that.
Hold on.
But you know what? There's a galactic story that happens. There's an opera happening all around that song.
Fuck off.
Just like Captain EO.
Fuck off with your question.
Because Captain EO's the same way. There's a story. There is a mission that needs to be done, and only Michael Jackson and that misfitted team can get it done. And guess what? There's a song that happens to be in the middle of this movie that, cool, it's done, happens to save the universe, and then there's an ending. There's a title sequence. There's a credit opening too. I don't know when we're talking about this. I'm right.
There's not a title sequence in Captain EO.
Fine. Yeah, there is. Because it pops up, says Captain EO.
Hold on, fucker. Then you're going off your theory. There's a title sequence in... Oh, yeah, fucking Thriller.
I don't remember it. Since I don't remember it doesn't exist.
Yeah, okay.
Fine. Thriller is a music video. Return of the Jedi is also a music video.
Return of the Jedi, no.
Yeah?
Return of the Jedi is not a music video.
Oh, okay, so Captain EO is not a music video.
No, it is.
No, it's not.
It's a fucking music video that he made for Disneyland.
No, it's not. It's a film he made for Disneyland.
First off, he didn't make
How many? Oh my gosh. How many music videos are in 3D? None.
There's a good number of music videos in 3D, I think.
Name me 18 right now.
18.
Go.
18, my bad.
Yeah. See, you can't.
Okay, so next week we will be doing Jordan Peele's Get Out. Jimmy has not seen Get Out. And Jimmy, what do you think it's going to be?
Well, I don't know. Like, it's a horror movie, right?
It's closer to a Twilight Zone episode.
Oh, okay. I don't know what to think about that. So I don't know. There's going to be pig people in this.
No,
someone's going to lose their glasses and not be able to read in a world all by themselves.
That. I mean, it's updated for modern times.
Wow, dude, that's such a vague response.
I feel like it's closer to Twilight Zone than anything, than a horror flick.
Okay, well, we'll see. It is the guy from the Key and Peele show, right?
Yes, Jordan Peele, who I'm not a fan of his comedy, but I really like Get Out.
Okay, well, okay.
We'll more on this next week.
If it's scary, dude, I'm gonna...
Thank you.